These are this afternoon's top stories. Nigerian charged with Rams robbery. OAS tells PPP to accept elections results and move on. And WHO may soon be unable to help Iraqis. Good afternoon and welcome to ZIZ Midday Newscast. Today is Friday, 5th June 2015. I'm Carla Berridge. In national developments, 39-year-old Peter Oki, a Nigerian citizen who resides at Newtown, has been formally arrested and charged for the daylight robbery at Rams Wholesale in Bird Rock. The May 22nd robbery had garnered much attention after a video of the entire event went viral on social networking sites. In a release from Public Relations Department of the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force, head of the Criminal Investigations Department, Superintendent Smithen, recorded appreciation to the entire force and others who were instrumental in the investigative process. ZIZ Broadcasting Corporation will be among media houses present at this afternoon's music festival Jump Off. That event is expected to intensify the promotional activities leading up to the June 25th to 27th St. Kitts Music Festival. Later today, members of the community will know the festival's complete lineup, including local acts who will sign contracts at a ceremony at Twinkle's, formerly Fat Tuesdays. That event is expected to commence at 4 p.m. Public Relations Officer for the St. Kitts and Nevis Defense Force, Captain Coyote Sutton, is pleased with the public's display of cooperation and support of exercise Tradewinds 2015. During an update on Thursday, Sutton said because of the collaboration, the objectives had so far been met.
It sounds like it's a lot of pieces, everything is working out, and the support from the government has been fantastic, it's been good. The hotel and all the other facilities that we use for training, as everything has worked out just perfectly well.
He said the countries represented will be the ultimate beneficiaries, so he is happy that the participants remain intrigued.
The response from the participants from the various countries is outstanding. You know, so the objectives so far have been achieved. And I do not expect any less for the culminating exercise. So I think it's a good thing.
That was Public Affairs Officer for the St. Kitts and Nevis Defense Force, Captain Coyote Sutton. A look at news on the regional scene. The Deputy Secretary General of the Organization of American States is urging the PPP in Guyana to accept the election results and move on. Albert Ramdin is touring several countries across the OAS as part of his retirement tour. While in Guyana, he met with President Granger and other officials.
Elections, especially when they are close elections, where there is a marginal difference between those who win and those who lose, it always leaves a bad taste. It always creates problems. But we have to recognize that democracy is a process whereby elections, the election outcome, once the institutions have pronounced on that, and once the time frame for objections and so on have taken place, that is time sometimes to move on and to recognize the authority that comes with it. I'm not saying that the party that is not in agreement with the outcome cannot continue with clarifying the position, and if there is evidence, presenting them wherever they want. But in the meantime, a country has to move on and to continue.
St. Lucia's leading import and export firm wants to put an end to the issues hampering the trade industry. Key trade industry stakeholders convened a major sit-down in May with St. Lucia's air freighters as part of a new initiative for enhancing regional and international trade.
St. Lucia air freighters are making a major push for the free movement of goods across the region. Despite the advent of the Caribbean single market and economy, the island's leading import-export firm says the circulation of goods is hampered by outdated and inefficient trade policies. The Trade and Export Agency, TIPA, the Customs and Excise Department, and officials from the Agriculture and External Affairs Ministries, along with St. Lucia air freighters and regional partners, convened a high-level sit-down to hammer out a way forward. Establishing a reliable and open trade route topped the agenda. Francilia Scott is the managing director at St. Lucia Air Freighters.
Our exports out of St. Lucia, there is no transportation to take it from St. Lucia and to other buyers, or within the Caribbean or outside of the Caribbean. So today we are dealing with that situation. We are bringing the solution because we, St. Lucia Air Freighters, are the agent for Amerijet International, the all-cargo carrier here in St. Lucia. And we are thinking that this is the solution for our problem.
Part of the Agriculture Ministry's mandate is to enhance local capacity to increase output at internationally accepted standards. The St. Lucia Bureau of Standards is working closely with the ministry on drafting policy guidelines for establishing an international benchmark. The goal is to position St. Lucia competitively on the global export-import market.
It will, because everybody will benefit from that. The economy, the government, the organizations themselves, our people, even the rest of the Caribbean, and even the U.S.
How exactly?
Because we're going to be taking from St. Lucia, exporting what we grow, what we produce out of St. Lucia and bringing it out to wider markets.
St. Lucia also faces an upsurge of lobbying for the removal of blacklisted goods.
Some of those goods, like I said earlier, these are blacklisted. That means they are no longer able to be shipped out. But I'm saying if we go back and we readdress those bans that they have placed on those goods, if we have to go back to readdress that, then we realize that, hey, it's no longer. Say, for example, say a fruit was, maybe a vegetable was banned because of the pink mealybug. Maybe there's no pink mealybug anymore. Maybe all of that is gone, but they have not addressed that.
A proposal for a government review of the trade policy is expected to be presented in the coming weeks. Rihani Isidore, HTS News Force.
Internationally, the World Health Organization is warning that it is running out of money to help nearly 3 million Iraqis displaced by violence as the Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant continues its assault across parts of the country. Al Jazeera's Imran Khan reports.
This is a camp humanitarian aid groups seem to have forgotten. Or perhaps they didn't know it existed in the first place. It's one of many across Baghdad which houses Iraqis who have escaped fighting in Anbar. There's no help from the international community here. This camp is run entirely from local charitable donations. For what little they have, the people who live here are thankful. For the younger ones, war has left its mark.
My children are quiet. They don't have the life in them they used to. They stay inside this tent and don't play. I say to them, go outside, but they never stay out for long. It's too hot and there is nothing for them to do.
There are serious issues that need to be addressed that only professionals can tackle, but they're elsewhere. Many of these children are suffering from stress-related psychological trauma. In other camps, health professionals encourage them to draw pictures and talk about their experiences to help them cope. Here, they're left to their own devices. A nearby mosque has been turned into a makeshift school, but it can only cope with a limited number of children. And even here, the lack of funding means there's little that can be done beyond trying to keep the kids busy.
These children show signs of stress. We see children break down and cry regularly. They have nightmares and are withdrawn. It's taken us a few weeks to get them to play like this.
The World Health Organization warns it's facing a severe funding shortfall to help Iraqis. Funding has been tight for a long time now, and there wasn't any available to allocate to this camp. A funding shortfall might sound like a very boring accountancy term, but it has a severe impact on the people that live here. If the international community does run out of money, then places like these will remain forgotten, and the desperate situation that these people are in will only get more desperate. Imran Khan, Al Jazeera, Baghdad.
Chinese hackers are suspected of a massive U.S. government data breach. Officials say as many as 4 million government employees' personal information was hacked in possibly the biggest cyber attack in American history.
Officials say this could be the biggest cyber attack in American history. The culprit, they say, China. As many as 4 million current and former government employees have been told their personal information, including names, social security numbers, and birthdays, could have been hacked from the Office of Personnel Management, the agency that screens and hires federal workers and does security clearances for 90% of the federal government. Tonight, the Obama administration is scrambling to assess the damage and warning millions of government employees that they should monitor their bank accounts and will get government help with credit reports and identity theft insurance. Officials also tell NBC News the data breach involved a never-before-seen cyber indicator and could potentially affect every federal agency. The FBI is investigating, but in the past, cyber attacks from China have come from this Chinese army building in Shanghai. This comes after last year's suspected North Korean attack on Sony and reports that Russia had hacked the White House, State Department, and IRS, including President Obama's emails. Today, before this cyber attack was disclosed, Intelligence Committee member Senator Ron Wyden told NBC News,
I continue to feel that it is very important that we ramp up our efforts to go after foreign hackers and foreign threats.
U.S. officials say that this breach is serious, but it could not be the worst-case scenario, they hope. That would involve the disclosure of the identities of the CIA's covert agents. So far, at least, they do not think that the CIA covers have been blown. So far, the Chinese embassy has not responded to our calls about the hacking. Lester?
All right, Andrea Mitchell. Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here, and then click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.
In the weather, today will be partly cloudy with a few cloudy periods and a chance of showers. Temperatures will reach 81 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds are east-southeast at 9 to 17 miles per hour. Seas are slight to moderate, with swells not exceeding 1.5 meters or 5 feet. Sunset for today is expected at 6:43 p.m., while sunrise tomorrow will be at 5:36 a.m. That brings us to the end of the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more in detail. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kyla Barrage.